In 3.5 weeks, the Australian public goes to the polls to select the next Prime Minister. What we thought we'd do today is have a quick look at all the promises that both parties, both Liberal and Labor, have made and give our opinion on whether we think they're worthwhile or not. So we'll hook straight into this one, mate. Promise number one, I'm going to read it from a list because I couldn't remember them all. Labor have promised $8.5 billion toward bulk billing. So bulk billing, as we know, in the last few years has gone by the wayside. Yes. And we now pay $60, $70, $80 to visit a doctor.
And then you get $30 back, whatever.
Yeah, down the track.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, bulk billing, that's good. I mean, it was getting hard to find someone that bulk billed.
Exactly right.
But of late, it's been a bit better.
Yeah. So $8.5 billion is a lot to promise. That's been matched by Liberals. So
it's good if you don't have a lot of money, for sure.
Oh, and if you go to the doctor's lot. 2,000 new GPs to be trained in Australia.
Okay.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, more doctors, because it's hard to get into a doctor. Again, both sides are offering that. 50 new urgent care centres. Now, I listened to the clarification. This is not them building 50 new centres. This is them opening departments or opening
existing centres. Okay.
Yeah. It might even be that they hire a shop in the street and make that a care. But it's not building 50. It's 50 urgent care. I'm not quite sure what they're going to be. It hasn't really been
They've never specified
very clearly on how much you're going to spend on it. But that hasn't been matched. That's a Labor-only policy. $573 million towards women's health. That mainly helps to cover off fertility, things like that. And that has been matched by both parties. So far, they're offering exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
On the tax side, both parties are offering small business tax cuts, which is always something being offered. The Labor government are offering PBS medicines price reductions, so a lot of scripts will come down.
Yeah.
Struggling to read this without my goggles, so I'm going to put my goggles on. Getting old. Oh, look at that. And that's been matched.
Yeah.
So both sides are offering that. They're going to reduce student debt by 20%, which is interesting. Yeah.
Well, it's good for students.
Good for students,
especially if the parents are paying for it.
Maybe they're chasing the younger person's debt. Won't help us.
It won't really. Well, it'll help my kids.
On the other side of that, Liberal has promised a 25-cent reduction per litre in the price of fuel.
Yeah, but that's only temporarily, isn't it?
It's for...
That's the excise tax.
Yeah, excise. Yep. They've decided to do that. That hasn't been matched by Labor. Instead, Labor have promised us $150 in the first 12 months of our electricity bill. So, the fuel will end up being about $15 a week against the 40 cents a day. So, what's that? $2 something a week. Yeah. Or nearly $3 a week. They've both got interesting housing offers where Labor are offering to, if you put down 1 or 2% deposit, we can stump up 40%. We'll own 40% of your house and you pay the rest off. And then, if you sell it, we get 40% of the value that you sell it for, etc. So that sounds like a way into the market for people. The Liberal side have offered dip into your super $50,000. So they're not helping, but they're allowing you access to your super.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
You don't get much of a deposit with $50,000 these days,
no.
Yeah. Do you? I mean, what's the average house? 700,000 or 800,000 deposit?
No, it's close to $1 million. I believe the average is like
$895.
High nines, isn't it?
No, $895.
Really? Is that all?
Yeah.
Is that in Melbourne?
Yeah.
What about Sydney?
Sydney's over $1 million. We're 4th or 5th in Victoria now. Yeah. I think Perth, Brisbane, all Canberra,
they've all
gone past us.
Gone crazy.
Yeah, I mean, on an $800,000 house, if you need 20%, it's $160,000. So $50,000 helps, but it's not going to get you a deposit. The Labor government have promised $20 billion to help rewire our grid for green energy, whereas Liberal have said they're going to spend $330 million on 7 nuclear power plants. And even if they get into power, the first one opens in 2037.
I know.
So.
Yeah. Well, at least they're not planning on the short term for once, which most of them do. So is that a good thing? Well,
in the meantime, they've promised to put more gas into the grid.
Well, that's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
I mean, we got rid of like 80% of our gas to overseas.
Yeah. And by flooding the market, the price will come down.
Yeah.
For both electricity and gas.
Look, we can also temporarily use the bloody coal we've got. I mean, it's just lying there in the ground. We've got all the facilities around it.
But we're looking for net zero, mate.
Yeah, but you can't just cut it off at the knees and expect it to walk. You know what I mean?
We've been planning to cut it off for 20 years, but like everybody else, we'll get to the last 3 or 4 years and panic, mate.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody else is starting to wind theirs back or push theirs out because they realise it's impossible to do.
It is impossible. Yeah. Well, the Jerry's tried it, and then you had to go and get more gas because they couldn't afford to just run green energy.
Yeah. 160 new childcare centres that Labor have promised, and some income tax cuts, especially at the lower end, so a 1% reduction in the lowest bracket.
That's great.
It's about $4 or $5 a week.
Superb.
Yeah.
Giving us so much.
That doesn't come in for 12 or 18 months. I think, into the term.
Yeah.
No reductions in government spending on the Labor side as we trip over $1 trillion worth of debt.
$1 trillion, mate.
On the flip side of that, and no immigration changes either on the Labor side. On the Liberal side, they've promised to reduce immigration from 185 next year to 140, and then 140 again the following year, and then 150, and then 165 before it goes back up. So at least there is some changes. We also allowed 20,000 asylum seekers in, and that's going to be cut right back, I think, to 10,000 and 15,000. So there's some changes there. They've also promised to do a mini Doge and find areas of waste and cut them. So at least there's a party talking about cutting, but
that's not Liberal at all, maybe.
Yeah, it's not a proper.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like it. So that's what the federal election is offering at the moment. It feels like nothing's really going to change.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what did they offer last time? They offered, we can't say that one, but
no, you can. So
they offered to do a royal commission into what happened during the vaccine saga. The royal commission didn't happen.
No.
They promised to make everything clear and everything so that nothing was hidden and be very open about what they're doing and how they're doing it. I've not seen any of that.
Open and honest politician. What are you saying?
So that's not actually a real thing, is it?
So we're a week and a half into the campaign. There's been one debate. I don't know whether you saw the debate the other night. Some people think Labor won it. Some people think Liberal won it. The people sitting in the room thought that Labor won it. And then you got the biased polls that...
And everybody else wanted to shoot themselves in the face because it's fucking boring.
Yeah, it was a bit boring.
But do we have... When I first came here, we had 3 parties. We had the Democrats as well.
Mm-hmm.
With Natasha Spock-Spoyer, or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
She was actually quite good. She was getting up to 20% of the vote. Who else have we got? We got the Teals. We got the Greens.
Well, it's the Greens. And the Nationals.
Yeah.
Well, the Nationals...
What's the Nationals bringing?
Well, the Nationals are
15% of the vote or something.
Yeah, well, they're the regional. They're the regional Liberals.
Right.
In effect.
And what do the likes, the Greens get? About 15%.
If the Greens ever get into power, God help us.
Yeah.
If the Greens get into power, I'll tell you now, that idiot, Adam Brandt or whatever your name is, if you ever become Prime Minister, I'm leaving. All right? Because you make no sense. All you're trying to do is cut down every poppy. Tall poppies, little poppies, you don't care.
What's the blood pressure, mate?
No, because he's trying to cripple you and me.
Oh.
He's going to change everything.
I can cripple myself quite well as I stand here.
We've spent 40 years planning our retirement so that we don't have to live off the government, and you're going to destroy it as soon as you get in. Or if there's anyway, enough of that.
Yeah. And what about the Teals? What have they got to offer?
Well, they're greenies, aren't they?
Not quite.
Well,
they're an offshoot, aren't they?
They're a mix of green.
There's a few of them. I know people voting Teal.
Well, that's scary. They're a mix of Labor and green.
And who else have we got? We got
the Shooters Party.
Well, we always vote them. We've got
Pauline.
The Marijuana Party. Yes, make that legal. Yep, I'll vote for them.
One Nation.
The One Nation. She actually, for someone that sounds terrible as a public speaker, she makes more sense than all of them.
Yeah, I don't think she sounds that terrible.
She's got better.
She has, I've got a lot of time for her. There's the new party, Clive's new party.
Tucker Carlson's back, so isn't he?
Has he? What is it? The trumpets of...
He loves them.
Trumpets of...
The trumpets of... I don't know. what
Yeah, I
it
don't
is.
know either. All I know is every time commercials are on the TV,
He's on it.
they are promising everything.
Mm.
That's the party who knows they can't get in, so let's just promise we're going to give everybody $1 million.
Well, I mean, he is a billionaire that's got
He is.
obviously far too much time on his hands.
Oh my God.
I have voted for him in the past when he first came out, before I really knew anything about him, because I really had no qualms of voting for anybody else because they're all rubbish.
Not being biased at all, but it looks right at this moment in time like it's going to be a continuance of the same party. I can't see.
So sad.
Well, yeah, I can't see how
A
Liverpool
lot,
can challenge them.
a lot of the young kids, they seem to have been brainwashed into believing Labour's bloody shit.
They're getting their 20% of their student debt.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to remember how many kids didn't finish school and have student debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, my son thinks Labour are much better than Liberal, and I'm just like, but they're both the same, mate. They just wear different coats.
How about in a week or two, we'll get him in as a guest. We'll ask him why.
My son.
Yeah.
Because
I'd love to hear his point of view from a different generation, because we're fixed in our ways.
Yes, he is pretty shy. Well, actually, his other friend, Kieran, now he's a talker.
Right.
We could get Kieran in to tell us all about it, because he knows a lot about nothing.
That could be our first one, our podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so at the moment, that's the rundown of what each party is offering. It's not very exciting, and it doesn't feel like there's a proper strong campaign being run by either party.
Much of the same, mate. Yeah, nothing to see here.
Pretty boring in Australian politics.
Yeah.
Yep.
I must admit, I dislike both of them. Probably as much as each other.
Yeah.
Mr. Flippy Floppy, ex-cop, Dutton.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
What we do know...
What did he think was going to happen when he flip-flopped?
Well, then people would lose respect for him. What will happen is we'll go into the next term with $1 trillion of debt, and we'll have $1.25 trillion worth of debt the next time we get around.
How long is that? How long has it taken for us to get that $1 trillion of debt? Because I know we were scot-free for a while.
2006.
Is it because our borrowing overseas? Is it overseas money that's caused it?
No, in fact, 50% of our current debt we've borrowed from our own reserve bank. So I guess it's not really true debt. But no, we haven't borrowed a lot.
Oh, actually, speaking of the reserve bank, that's what Canada said. He's thinking of having a look at the reserve bank because they've not been doing a good job.
Right.
I'm sure that's what he said. Oh, maybe it was Trump.
No, it was Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. But he'll get shot for sure now. Because the people in charge of the reserve bank, that's the 13 families.
Is it?
The evil bastards that run everything.
Well, he was saying
Apparently.
he was saying they need to be reducing interest rates much faster than they are. Yeah. But we've done the tariffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we were right. Because he backed off everybody
he has.
China. It was a bully.
Apparently he's talking to 70 countries already about where we're going to go from here.
Just giving them all a 90-day
reset. Pass. Yeah.
Anyway, that's nothing to do with what we're talking about here. No. Federal election, boring.
Boring as
Wake me up in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll know who
when
wins.
It's over. Wake me up when it's over.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for your time.
Good on yous.
See you later.